The first slap didn't hurt as much as the silence that followed it. It echoed across the wooden walls of the ranch house, a sharp, unforgiving crack that seemed to linger in the air longer than it should have. My cheek burned, but I didn't move. I didn't raise my hand to defend myself. I didn't even blink. I just looked at my son. Daniel. The boy I had once carried on my shoulders through these very fields now stood in front of me like a stranger. Eyes cold, jaw tight, breath heavy with anger. "You think I'm joking, old man," he spat. Old man. That was new. I swallowed, tasting something bitter, not blood, something deeper. "I told you," I said quietly, my voice steadier than I felt. "This ranch isn't for sale." The second slap came faster. I had spent 40 years building that ranch. 40 years of sunburned skin, cracked hands, and sleepless nights. Every fence post, every stall, every acre of land held a piece of my life. After my wife, Eliza, passed away 12 years ago, the ranch became more than just work. It became my reason to keep waking up. Daniel never understood that. He left when he was 21, chasing city dreams. Said he was too big for a life that smelled like hay and sweat. I didn't stop him. A man has to walk his own road. But roads change people. And sometimes, they don't lead back to who they once were. "Don't lie to me," Daniel shouted, packing like a caged animal. "You're sitting on land worth millions, and you're acting like it's some sacred temple." "It is," I said softly. That earned me the third slap. This one knocked me sideways. I stumbled against the dining table, gripping its edge to stay upright. My knuckles turned white. "You're selfish," he said, breathing hard. "Do you even know what I'm dealing with? Debts, investors, people who don't wait around for old men to make sentimental decisions." "I didn't ask you to take those risks," I replied. "You're my father," he snapped. "You're supposed to help me." "Help?" I almost smiled at that word. Almost. "I helped you your whole life," I said, "but I won't destroy this ranch to fix mistakes you chose to make." That's when the fourth slap came. Each hit wasn't just physical. It was a crack in something far older. Memories began to flood in, uninvited. Daniel at 5, chasing chickens and laughing. Daniel at 10, falling off a horse and crying into my chest. Daniel at 16, promising me he'd never forget where he came from. Funny how promises fade faster than scars. "You don't get it," he yelled, his voice breaking now, not with sadness but frustration. "If I don't get that money, I lose everything." I looked at him carefully. "You already have," I said. That was when he hit me the fifth time. Harder than the rest. I fell. The wooden floor felt colder than I remembered. For a moment, I just lay there, staring up at the ceiling beams Eliza and I had polished together decades ago. Footsteps approached, then stopped. "Last chance," Daniel said, his voice quieter now but more dangerous. "Sign the papers, sell the ranch, or I swear I'll make sure you regret it." I slowly pushed myself up, using the chair beside me. My body ached, but my mind was clear. "No," I said. He left that night. The door slammed so hard the windows rattled. And just like that, I was alone again. But this time, it felt different. He hadn't just walked away. He had crossed a line. The next morning, I woke before sunrise, as always. Routine is a strange kind of comfort. Even when your world feels like it's collapsing, the cows still need feeding. The fences still need checking. Life doesn't pause for heartbreak. But as I walked through the fields, something inside me had shifted. For the first time, I wasn't just thinking about preserving the ranch. I was thinking about protecting it. From my own son. 3 days later, Daniel returned. But he wasn't alone. 2 men in suits stepped out of a black car behind him. They didn't belong here. You could tell by the way they looked at the land, not with appreciation but calculation. Appraisers, Daniel said smugly, thought I'd speed things up. I leaned against the porch railing. You brought strangers onto my land without permission. He shrugged. Won't matter once the papers are signed. I studied him carefully. Then I nodded. All right, I said. His smirk widened. Finally came to your senses. Oh, I came to something, I replied. We sat at the same table where he had struck me. The papers were spread out neatly, legal jargon, numbers, signatures waiting to be written. Daniel pushed a pen toward me. Just sign, he said. Let's not make this harder than it has to be. I picked up the pen, turned it in my fingers, then placed it back down. I already signed, I said. He froze. What? I reached into a drawer and pulled out another set of documents. His confidence flickered for the first time. What is this? You wanted the ranch, I said calmly, so I made sure you'd never get it. He snatched the papers and began flipping through them. His face changed. Confusion. Then disbelief. Then something close to panic. You donated it, he whispered. Not donated, I corrected, transferred. To who? I leaned back in my chair. To the workers who have kept it running all these years, to the families who actually care about this land. And part of it, I paused, letting the words settle, has been turned into a community trust. It can't be sold, not by you, not by anyone. The room went silent. The men in suits exchanged uneasy glances. Daniel's hands trembled as he flipped through the pages again, as if hopping the words would rearrange themselves into something he preferred. This is a joke, he said. It's not. You can't do this. I already did. His anger came back, but weaker this time. You choose strangers over your own son, he demanded. I looked at him, not with anger but with something far heavier. No, I said, I chose what's right over what's easy. He laughed bitterly. You just ruined me. No, I said quietly, you did that yourself. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then he asked something I didn't expect. Why, he said, his voice lower now, why go this far? I took a deep breath. Because the moment you raised your hand against me, you stopped being someone I could trust with this legacy. The words hung between us. Heavy. Final. The men in suits left first. Then Daniel followed. But this time he didn't slam the door. He just walked out. Slowly. Like a man carrying something he couldn't put down. Weeks passed. Then months. The ranch changed, but not in the way Daniel had wanted. It grew. Stronger. The workers became partners. The land flourished in ways I hadn't seen in years. There was laughter again, purpose, community. And me. I found peace. Not the easy kind, but the kind you earn. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I saw a familiar figure standing by the fence. Daniel. He looked smaller somehow. Not physically, just less certain. I walked over, stopping a few feet away. We stood in silence for a while. I heard what you did, he said finally. I figured you would. He nodded. They say the ranch is doing better than ever. It is. Another pause. Then he said, I deserved it. That surprised me. I studied his face. For the first time in a long while, I saw my son again. Not the man who had slapped me, but the boy who once promised he'd never forget. I'm not here for money, he added quickly. I just wanted to see it again. I nodded. Then look, I said. We stood there together, watching the land stretch out before us. Golden. Endless. Alive. After a while, he spoke again. I'm sorry, he said. Simple words, but not easy ones. I didn't respond right away. Forgiveness isn't something you hand out like spare change. It takes time, truth, change, but it also takes courage to accept it. I can't undo what I did, he continued, but I want to try to be better. I finally looked at him. That's a start, I said. We didn't hug. Not yet. Some things need rebuilding, slowly, carefully. Like fences after a storm. But for the first time in a long while, there was hope. Moral of the story. Greed can blind us, anger can break us, but the choices we make in our darkest moments define who we truly are. Respect, integrity, and legacy are not measured in money, but in the values we refuse to compromise, even when it costs us everything.